Welcome to my update. So I did a video, well, the first one in this series that I've done on my channel about the cars, which was entitled BMW i4, Can You Get One? Well, the answer now is yes. After 7 months of waiting, plenty of updates from BMW and Inverness, I got the car on the 10th of November, and here it is. And so this little video is after 2 weeks. I've had it 2 weeks tomorrow. What's my first impressions? What adventures have I had? What do I like and what don't I like? So I'm going to start off with what I don't like about the car, because that is a really, really small list. Probably anything things I don't like particularly, or not really don't like, but the boot's quite small. It's okay, but I had a Mercedes GLC before, so we've had to get used to slightly less space in the boot. That's not a major issue. All the seats go down, so does everything, but I suppose that's one little thing. What else don't I like about the car? I'm struggling, you see, because the reality is I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. So let's start about what I suppose go on to what I love about the car. I love the way it looks. I think that it's a very good looking car from the outside. Mainly, I suppose, to me, because it actually just looks like a car, rather than some futuristic plastic mobile. So that's a really big thing that I like about the car, just the way it looks on the outside. And then the second thing, what I like, is the looks on the inside. So when I open it all up, here we have this lovely, lovely dashboard. And I'm not going to get in the car and go through it all. But one thing I love about the car is the fact that I get in my key, it says hello, and it puts the seat to my settings. When my wife gets in with her key, that puts the seat to her settings. I'm always in the position that I like. I like the fact that it instantly recognises my phone and her phone when we're in the car together. The entertainment system is best I've ever had. The screen itself, I saw a reviewer say it was a bit laggy. Not been my experience at all. No lagginess at all. The next thing I really love about the car is the ride. The best car I've ever had for ride was a Jaguar F-Pace. And while there were other things wrong with the Jaguar F-Pace, i.e. the infotainment system was the worst I've ever had, in that it just didn't work. Its ride was phenomenal, to the point that the old ones among us will remember Terry Thomas. So you felt like an English gentleman cad because you drove a Jag. And driving a Jag meant that you could pull out on roundabouts very slowly and cut people up. They'd be infuriated, but the fact you were in a Jag meant it was okay. I kid, honestly I do. Please don't write to me and tell me what a bad driver I am. That sort of wafted along, and this does the same. I suppose it is a feature of electric cars, but I drove a few electric cars before I got to this one. It just had this real lovely bit of refinement that makes it feel that bit extra special. And the fact that everything works is phenomenal. Some things we're having to get used to. Where we have had problems, shall we say, have been what my golf pro used to say when I used to go to him and say, these clubs don't work. He'd look me in the eye and say, Jim, is it the Arrow or is it the Indian? And we found a few things on here where it is in fact the Indian that is the problem. We did have an issue where the car stopped talking to the app. We had no connectivity at all. And in fact, when we first got the car, We had a few issues around things not working maybe as they should do. Sometimes the mirrors folded, sometimes they didn't. The automatic braking was a little bit intermittent and never really quite knew what was going to happen. So I went back to BMW in Inverness and they had it for a day. They did a reboot. It was all a software issue. And now that's all that's sorted. So minor problem, software issue. Sorted out very quickly, very promptly, so no problem there. The car has a claimed range of up to 330 miles. We charge it, so I have my pod point here, and I park the car here. Charging is simplicity itself. One thing we have learnt about charging is if you want to use the charging network out in public, is some chargers have leads attached, some chargers don't have leads attached. So if we're on a longer journey, I have to remember to take my leads with me in case I want to use a public charger that doesn't actually come with its own set of leads. So we learnt that one. I wouldn't quite say the hard way, but we haven't been anywhere yet where we need to charge it, but I've now paid a lot more attention to chargers. So the indicated range when I charge it to 80% is about 180 miles, which isn't quite the 300 you might expect it to be. But one thing we have found is driving around town, the short journeys, it goes down. But if you drive it with some care, as we say, and I look for the kilowatt per hour usage, it goes way more than that. And we've noticed as well on a run, so if we're going somewhere, we've done a couple of runs down to Fort Augustus and back around the Highlands, it's way more economical. So I can see where the 300 mile plus range would come from. I just haven't seen it indicated. That takes a little bit of getting used to when you're used to driving diesel cars or petrol cars, when you've always got a tank full of gas. But the reality is we're not driving 150 miles in a go. So as long as we've got 80 miles, 90 miles of charge, we can whiz around here in Tesco's and back happily. So although I've only had it 2 weeks now, we're beginning to fall into a charging habit, which is I tend to charge it now on a Friday, up to 80% ready for the weekend. And then depending what mileage we've done, last Sunday I charged it again to 80%. That lasted us all week. And it was down to about 38% on Friday when I charged it again. But after this weekend of running around, I've still got about 48% of battery, so I won't charge it probably till Tuesday, Wednesday. When it gets down nearer to the 20%, then we'll put it up and charge it back up to 80 again. So these things really are, I suppose, just getting used to living with an electric car and being realistic about what you actually need in terms of range. You don't need it to be full the whole time. And I am becoming more relaxed as I've been driving the car and using the car about the indicated range, knowing that I look at balance battery left with how much it says with how I drive. So we have one trip planned to England in December. I've worked out my charging points already, one of which will be a stop charge while we go and have lunch. So 2 half charges on the route will give us enough to cover the 500 or so miles that we've got to go. Adventures then. What adventures have we had? Well, one of the features on the car is that you can have this key set to automatic, so that when you walk up to the car it opens, and when you walk away the car closes. So we set that up thinking what a great idea it would be, and it proved to be a very bad one. Last weekend when we were getting ready to go out somewhere, and I walked out, car opened, walked back in, car locked, wife walked out, couldn't get into the car, shouted at me, I came out, car opened, I walked away, car locked. It was chaos. One of those things that seems a great idea until reality kicks in. So we turned that back round to, we just pressed the key, all that effort of just pressing the button, and we've had no issues since. All works fine. Second one is slightly more serious. So this is my car, but I'm getting another one, and the reason for that is When I picked the car up, 10th of October, got in, it was dark because it was quite late in the day. They'd been busy, I'd been busy. And started showing me all the buttons and going, yeah, great, and impressed. And I'd ordered the car with a head-up display, so I asked, well, how do I get the head-up display to work? And my salesperson looked at me, and the exact word she used was, I think I'm about to burst into tears. And I said, well, don't worry, it's okay. I'm sure there's something can be done. Anyway, she was off work on the Tuesday. Wednesday, I got a phone call from them saying, we're really sorry, Mr. Johnson. There was a mistake. So I don't know what process you went through, but I ordered my car online, went through the online ordering process, paid my £500 deposit, and then it went to the dealership. And the dealership take that order and they convert it into a vehicle order and place the order for the vehicle. So it would appear that in that process, the person who did it missed off the tech pack. And so the car was built without the head-up display. When they went back and checked my original online order, of course, they found I'd put in the tech pack. And so, long story short, they have said straight away, it was our fault. We've ordered you another car, and I should get that in December. To be absolutely honest, it's a cock-up, but the fact they have instantly admitted it and come up with a solution, why would I worry? It's been absolutely fantastic. So we're getting to learn how to use this car and how to live with an electric vehicle and charging whatever. But after 2 weeks, I think the car was phenomenal. Love driving it and getting used to living with an electric vehicle. So that's my summary. I hope if you've got one of these, you're enjoying it. And if you're planning to get one, I have to say it is worth the wait. Thanks a lot.